Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett on this Wednesday, February 12th. I'm Bridgett Ellison. It's good to be with you. We have weather and traffic, top headlines, and a live interview this morning, getting you ready for Valentine's Day with some dating advice from a dating expert. So we're all looking forward to that and getting some, up-to-date information on how to spot some of those green flags, red flags, and everything in between. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, we want to get a check of your forecast. And Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is in the Pinpoint Weather Center. And how are things looking this morning, Candace? Good morning.
I can't wait to hear about these flag
I know,
colors.
right? I know.
I've heard of a beige flag too.
Is that good or
When
bad?
when someone's just really vanilla, they're just very like,
Okay.
blah.
That's the neutral flag.
That's like the neutral flag. Yeah.
What about
neither
the
here
white
nor
flag?
there.
Just wave the white flag.
Surrender. All right. Let's talk about your weather forecast. Let me think. How can I make flags into the forecast?
Daytona?
A moderate risk of rip current. So we will have the yellow flag flying along our beaches later on today. Or we've got the checkered flag that we're going to be waving later on this Sunday. I know, Steve. I've got a lot. Let's talk about your weather forecast because the weather will be impacting, not in a good way, the Daytona 500, which if I need to look back, before it used to be in the summer. So that was an obvious, weather delay concern. So they moved it towards, the beginning of the year. And now weather is impacting it again. So that's just the way it goes. But this is what you can expect over the next couple of days. So for your Thursday, it's going to get hot. Today it's going to be warm. There's no doubt about it. Upper 80s this afternoon. But then tomorrow we're going to just crank it up a little higher. Now, by the way, if we do hit 90 degrees, Bridgett, tomorrow, it will be the earliest November day we've ever seen on record. The current record holder is the 15th. So we could get 90s on the 13th. So just cutting it pretty close. But again, could be holding a record there. Then as we head into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're going to see the progression of two different fronts. It's that Sunday front, the one that could be impacting Daytona, will also be bringing us much cooler air with highs back into the 60s. The winter not completely giving up, but it won't last super long. As we look here at the satellite and radar composite, I love this graphic because it shows you just the mess that this system is currently, causing. We got snow across the deep south. We have rain and storms in the deep south, snow, blizzard-like conditions as far south as Washington, D.C., and then out through the Rockies as well. Locally here, this front's going to continue to build up that heat, and then we're going to start seeing a little more rain associated with it. So your highs for today, we are back into the mid-80s along our coast, upper 80s further inland. But then this is what Thursday has to offer. Nearing 90 in Orlando, pretty close to it there in Stanford and Leesburg. And as of now, it looks like we certainly could easily be tying a record tomorrow across many of our locations, along with that earliest 90-degree day on record as well. So let's take you here throughout the next 2 days here with our clouds and rain forecast. Notice that southerly breeze. That's what's going to continue to pump in that heat and humidity. So we're going to try to create some sea breeze action today. We don't have that much moisture in play. But then on Thursday, we have even hotter air and more moisture as that next front, you can see it there on the top side of your screen, starts approaching Central Florida. So that's really going to juice up the atmosphere. So when you talk about almost summer-like heat and humidity, and then you have enough moisture, we're going to get those summertime sea breeze patterns back in play for just a day. As you can see here, some scattered showers will start to develop around 4 o'clock across inland zones, and everything shifts from west to east throughout at least sundown. Then the front comes through overnight into Friday morning, Valentine's Day. Speaking of the dating scene, it looks like temperatures are actually going to be cooling a little closer to near normal. Our average is mid-70s, will be about 78, but it certainly will feel a little more comfortable if you want to maybe take dinner outside, maybe do a little picnic, or you don't celebrate it at all and it's just another Friday. At least it's going to be a nice looking Friday. It's my daughter's birthday, so
I know.
that's always
I
a big
always
one.
think about her. I just think about your Valentine's baby.
Yeah, and so then as we head into Saturday, we're going to start bringing the temperatures back and then stopping the clock Sunday at around 4 o'clock. The Daytona 500 starts around 2:30 is when I believe the race begins. So there will be a concerned that we might have a weather delay. I don't see this system postponing the race. We've had situations like that before, but I don't see that happening this year. Now, with that being said, some models are bringing the rain in the afternoon. Some models hold it to a little later in the day. It's a long race, so I'm pretty much guaranteeing that there will be some sort of rain delay at some point of the race. Once that front clears, I didn't think I could use the word again on my graphic, but cooler. Cooler air is going to settle in, and it looks like we will finally start to actually trend below average, at least as we kind of wrap up the month of February. So for those who were hoping to actually get some of that winter weather back, it looks like we might have another go or so of that. So as we get results here, their full 7-day forecast, you could see we're bumping up rain chances tomorrow. It's that sea breeze interaction. A little drier for Friday and Saturday, up in the chance again on Sunday. But look at those temperatures Monday and Tuesday, near to below average. I didn't even have a chance to talk about those lows, down into the 40s early Tuesday morning.
I can't believe that the hottest day of the year is Thursday. I heard you talk.
I know. So basically, we're going to go from the 90s to the 60s in a couple of days. So it's interesting because if you want to pop up the 7-day, you normally don't have a lot of time to show this on TV.
Yeah.
But notice our low Thursday night and into Friday morning. You see there? It's 68 degrees. Then flip it and put it as the high on Monday. So it was literally going to be a flip where our low turns into our high in just a couple of days. So
wow.
There you go. I know. It's a busy weather day, but it's also been very busy traffic day as well. So
yeah, let me get over to Steve. Thanks, Candace.
Welcome. Bye.
All right, bye. Yeah, we do want to check in with Steve. He's got a couple things to get to. Traffic, a bit of a mess this morning. What's the latest, Steve? Good morning.
Good morning, Bridget. We did start this morning off absolutely crazy, and it just shows like it's either Candace is going nuts or I'm going nuts. And sometimes when she's going crazy, I'm going crazy. So it was an interesting morning out here. We are making a little bit of progress. So let's get straight over to the map so I can update everybody. So before they hit the road, as you're having your breakfast with Bridget this morning, Alafaya Trail northbound at Colonial, we were watching a really bad fatal crash this morning that involved a pedestrian. A 53-year-old male was killed on scene out here. Northbound lanes are now back open, so they will not affect your morning commute out here. If you live out there, Waterford Lakes area, Stony Brook, and maybe Avalon, and you want to head towards UCF this morning, we are back open. Where are the delays? This is the problem right now, Bridget. It's going to be northbound I-95. So they now have 3 lanes open. For the 2-hour show that we had, all traffic was getting by on that left shoulder. They had directed you there, but right now only the right travel lane is blocked as they kind of clean this up, but the delay is moving slow. In the opposite direction, there's a disabled vehicle on the right-hand side, not affecting traffic, but Florida move over law still applies, meaning scoot yourself over, give that road ranger some room so we don't have any issues out there. Look at the map here, though. We are backed up all the way to Mitten Road. So we're talking about a 4-mile delay northbound at this point. If you are in Melbourne, listen to me. I would recommend take Wickham up towards O'Galley and hop onto 95 from there. There's no reason that you need to be driving on connecting from 192 to northbound lanes there because you're just going to be fighting the traffic. 417 looking nice this morning when it comes to there. It's not dark out there, I promise. If it is, we have bigger problems going on. 417 out by 441. Beautiful drive right now, north and southbound through that area. If you're headed out towards the turnpike, we have those routine slowdowns on the ramp there, but nothing that is going to bother you too much. Florida Turnpike, nice and smooth on the south end. St. Cloud, good morning to you. 192. Pretty good. And then there's a minor crash down off of Orange Avenue, but not going to slow you down. I was checking out Taft Vineland because I saw some delays out there. It looks like it's cleaned up. But where we are seeing is our routine stuff, eastbound from 27 in towards the 535 area. And then, of course, westbound over in Lake Mary. What's our drive time coming in from Champions Gate this morning? It's huge, 46 minutes, Champions Gate to downtown Orlando. So please make sure we're paying attention. A lot of safety this morning we talked about, Bridget, from Mark Lehman along the Daytona area and A1A with the pedestrian improvements. I'm all about a flashing pedestrian sign. I'm all about designated areas, but the key is pedestrians need to use them.
Yeah.
especially if we're going to put them in there and they're there for their safety. I know we've got stuff in Sanford that I like to use out there and in South Orange County that we've seen get put up. But it's all about the relationship. People drivers need to be paying out for the pedestrians, and pedestrians need to be doing the right thing as well. So it's been a
Quick
it's been a
question for you.
morning. Yeah, what's up?
In your neighborhood, say you have kids playing in the street and you want to put out like one of the kids that play like the little neon little. Have you seen that thing? What's
Yeah, I've
allowed?
seen
What's
them
allowed with
over.
that type of thing?
So you're allowed to do whatever you'd like on your property, just to put out a warning, especially in a community. But the kids technically are in the right of way. I mean, are in the wrong. So they are technically in the violation of right of way to vehicles. No one should be ever just playing around in the street. I'm not going to say that I didn't do it as a kid,
You know
but
what I
at the
mean, though,
same
like when
time,
you're on, when you live like on a
100%, yeah,
cul-de-sac or a quiet
yep.
street.
I'm a big proponent. Put those little signs out. Sometimes it's like the neon turtle that's holding the sign,
That's
and it's
it.
just like slow down for
I'm like,
kids
what
and
is
stuff
that? Is it
like
a little
that.
boy? What is that thing? It's a turtle.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was
Slow down.
told it was a turtle because it's like slow down. Yeah.
Got it.
So
Okay.
you could put those out there. I don't see, as long as it's
You
on
can't put
your
it in the
grass, like
road, though. That's what you're saying.
correct,
Like I can't go buy
correct.
speed humps and put them out when my kids play.
No, ma'am. I think
Okay.
your HOA would have the problem with that one.
We
But
need
I
some
get what
speed
you're
humps,
saying,
but yeah. Okay.
right? I'm all about like spike strips going up and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
slow them down. But
Okay.
no,
But
you could put whatever
definitely.
you'd like in your yard. Yes,
But the kids playing
and
in
you'll
the
be good to
street
go.
is a risky thing still, no matter what street it is. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But on the same time, drivers should be paying
Yeah.
attention as well, because if you live in a residential neighborhood and you know there's kids there, you shouldn't be flying up and down the neighborhood either way. So drivers have a responsibility as well, just to use due care in a community, because look, yeah, it may be a roadway, but they're kids, and kids are going to be kids just like pets are going to be pets. So
Right.
it's that
Speaking of which,
relationship between. Yes. So good segue there. So today, I'm so excited because this might be the coolest dog that we
I
have
know
ever
she's a
featured.
cutie.
Yeah, so we're 11 out of 11 right now, and I hope that we get to our 12th dog will be adopted. And from what I hear, a viewer has already called the content center and wants to adopt this dog.
Oh.
So this is Paris. You could tell she only has 3 legs, but it's not slowing her down. Look at
at
the
her.
face,
Look at her.
Bridget. Come
Oh.
on. So she's 5 years old. She was hit by a car, and the surgery, was a success. And some people would say, well, she only has 3 legs. I don't care if she had just 2. She operates better than any of us first thing in the morning, any day. So she has energy. I hear she's affectionately shy, and she
Aw.
loves to cuddle her face into you. So I talked to Brian Almeida, the public information officer out there, and he flat out said, you would never know of her injuries just based off of her energy and how she gets around. So she's going to get featured at 10 a.m. today. ClickOrlando.com, the News 6 app, News 6 Plus, and YouTube. And then we're going to hopefully do a little special feature on her in the evening news, because I've got our creative services team coming out there with me today as well.
Cute. Can't wait to see more. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. I'm going to stick around and see about these green flags, red flag
Right.
stuff. So let's see what's going on.
Each one teach one. Or reach one.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
See ya.
Okay. All right. We want to take a look at some of the top headlines this morning. And unfortunately, there's a crime alert in Volusia County that you want to be mindful of. Right now, deputies are searching for a suspect wanted in a double murder that happened in Binghamton, New York. And so Scott Mitchell's wanted in connection to that, and they have traced him to Florida now. They found his vehicle in South Carolina, but they think he's somewhere in West DeLand, and he is 50 years old, 5'11". If you happen to see him, don't approach him. They consider him armed and dangerous. Call 911 immediately. Also this morning, a new story from Mike Valente out of Titusville. Some tense moments in the council meeting last night as family members and friends of a 25-year-old who was killed last Friday by Titusville police wanted more information and demanded answers last night in that meeting. So News 6's Mike Valente has more on what happened there.
Samantha Charles' grief for her son coming through raw and unfiltered Tuesday.
I'm still a grieving mom. No matter what the situation, That's my child got murdered.
Telling council members that she has not been able to see her son's body since his death last Friday, when police say they shot Tremarie Charles, who they claim was holding a gun.
I get a message to go call these people. Why I gotta call them? Why I gotta reach out to y'all? I'm her grieving mom. Okay. I need answers.
Off camera, Titusville Police Chief John Lau told News 6 he met with Samantha Charles after Tremarie's death and advised her that Titusville Police could not prevent her from seeing her son, that authority was with the medical examiner. But Charles was undeterred.
I want to see my baby. I want to see my baby. The whole situation was wrong. I'm hurt, and it's ridiculous.
I understand this is frustrating. The investigation is not with our city, and unfortunately, our hands are tied as well.
That comment from Titusville's mayor changed the trajectory of the night. Family and friends, clearly angry, shouting down the mayor and council members and walking out. And from City Hall, the protest continued. Tremarie's family and friends made their way to Robbins Avenue, where Tremarie lost his life last Friday. The protesters included Saray Griffin, who says she was with Tremarie that night.
He had a gun and fell on the ground, but he did not aim at no police.
We just want some kind of answers, someone to tell us something.
James Saunders was not there, but as Tremarie's uncle, he wants to understand what his nephew's final moments were like. He helped organize a march to City Hall Tuesday. Titusville police tell us no body cam footage will be released until FDLE completes its investigation. In Titusville, Mike Valenti, Getting Results, News 6.
Also happening today, FDOT looking for your feedback about some big changes in the works along a busy stretch of US 1, the goal to improve safety on Bevel Road from Fairview Avenue in Daytona Beach. News 6's Mark Lehman has more.
Have you seen any close calls when it comes to pedestrians and drivers?
All my life. All my life in Volusia County on US 1.
Shauna Ford says the dangers on the road are clear. Driving down US 1, also known as Ridgewood Avenue, we saw bikes close to traffic and people taking their chances, crossing wherever they could.
Almost a daily thing, huh?
Yeah, it really is. It's almost a daily thing. Yeah, you got to really be careful and cautious when you cross.
But safety improvements could soon be on the way. It's part of a nearly $10 million resurfacing project between Bevel Road and Fairview Avenue. The Florida Department of Transportation wants to add 4 mid-block crosswalks with pedestrian hybrid beacons. They've been installed in some places in Central Florida, including one a few miles away near Mainland High School.
I think it's better to have some type of signal like on International, instead of, you can't put speed bumps out here.
Mark LaPointe says he's on board with the plan, which also includes 7-foot wide buffered bike lanes.
I think it's a great idea because it gives everybody more room.
And more room means less crashes. The state says the improvements could reduce potential impacts by nearly 70%.
If both parties play their part in this, everybody will be safe.
And then we'll keep you updated on what happens there. And we're taking a quick break. We'll be back with dating red and green flags. Get you ready for Valentine's Day. Stay with us. Good morning and welcome back. You know, Valentine's Day is coming up on Friday, February 14th, and love it or hate it, you know, if you go into the stores, you've seen all the balloons and the cards, flowers. It's already stocked up and ready to go. And many people are looking for love, and that's only natural. So this morning, we're talking to April Davis, founder of Luma Luxury Matchmaker. Good morning, April.
Good morning.
We are interested in getting ready for Valentine's Day, no matter, you know, what stage of life or love you're looking for. And so how is it that, you know, people are approaching dating right now? Because we've had dating apps come on the scene in the past, you know, 15, 20 years or so. You're a matchmaker service. There's still the good old fashioned ways of trying to meet people. But what is that dating scene like, you know, statistically right now?
Well, dating apps only account for, I think it's around like 10% of actual relationships. So people think that, oh, if I want to meet someone, I need to just go online and order up a person just like I do with Amazon. But it's actually not that effective if you are looking for a long-term committed relationship. Whereas meeting somebody through a mutual acquaintance is still the number one way.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people used to go out a lot more and meet people, naturally, organically at restaurants or bars or out with friends. And I know COVID has really
Yeah.
changed our whole society,
Mm-hmm.
and people are just more reluctant to even go out. I know a lot of people that use the apps. The problem with apps are you're going to have a huge chunk of people that are just apps or sorry, bots and scammers and stuff. And then you have some people that are just sitting there looking for attention. And then of course you have people that want to hook up. And then there's a small subset of people who actually want a real relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be challenging for people that are actually looking for a partner or a long-term
Mm-hmm.
relationship.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get into the matchmaking business?
Well, I just started doing it. And when I was 16, I made my first match that ended up in a marriage. And then fast forward 10 years, I started learning about some of these dating services that were out there. Match.com was new, but it was still kind of taboo.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was reading about these
eHarmony,
others.
is that still
Yeah,
around?
yeah, right. Oh, yeah. And it's the best one for finding a real relationship. It's still considered one of the best ones, I should say. And so I was just thinking, my background's in process improvement, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought, I could apply this to dating. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I started the company, because we're more of a customized search firm.
Mm-hmm.
We help people find, exactly what they're looking for.
So
It's
how
not
do you
just
do
throwing
that?
people on a
How do
bunch
you
of
go
dates.
about finding it? What makes a good match?
Well, first, we sit down with our clients and we understand who they are and who they're looking for in a partner. And we ask them 100 questions. And so essentially, we're an extension of them. And then we go through our own proprietary database and we vet people on their behalf. And on average, we end up interviewing about 50 people per client. So it's like we're going on 50 first dates for them so they don't have to. And then we plan the date, we set it up, and they just give us feedback afterwards and let us know how it went.
So how does the radius work? Are you working with people city limits wise, nationwide, statewide? What are some of those parameters?
It just depends on the client and what they're open to. We try to get people to be more open minded, because in this day and age, people have this paradox of choice. They think that because they have so many options, they can never just settle, because
Mm-hmm.
it's just overwhelming. And then
Hmm.
people are less satisfied with their decisions once they make a decision about someone. So it's important to not get married to this laundry list of ideas of what you think you need in a partner. And so what we go through is like the basics, of course. You have geography, and then there's the whole thing about kids. Do you want kids? Will you date somebody with kids already? And that's a major factor. And
Mm-hmm.
age, of course. And then we go through like the next level of values. What is important
Mm-hmm.
to this person? Do they,
Mm-hmm.
maybe their religion is super important, maybe family
Mm-hmm.
is super important. And it really comes down to the individual client.
And one thing we talked about was the green flags and red flags in dating. And that is so
Yeah.
important in this day and age. We've seen so many stories of predatory situations and maybe background checks or things that maybe should have been done, or people didn't know about a person's background. So what can you tell us about green flags and red flags?
Well, green flags are going to be things like somebody that is really supportive and, a positive person that is reliable, that does what they say they're going to do, that shows you they have empathy. Everyone talks about like the shopping cart test. Does this person put their shopping cart away when no one's looking? Or how do they treat people in the service industry who have no power? That's really
Mm-hmm.
reflective of who an individual is.
Mm-hmm.
Green flags, on the other hand, would be something like someone that is constantly negative, talking negatively about their ex, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
making blanket statements about groups of people. That's usually a big red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that's jealous, not just jealous of you with another partner, but jealous of maybe your accomplishments and
Mm-hmm.
how successful you are, or where you spend your time, and they're just kind of making little negative digs here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that disregards your boundaries, is inconsistent with their communication. And then another thing that I always, want people to be aware of is someone that is constantly comparing you to their ex,
Mm.
is going to be a big red flag, because comparison is the thief of joy. And
Mm-hmm.
no one wants to be compared constantly
Mm-hmm.
to someone's ex.
And what do you recommend when it comes to checking into someone's background and making sure like they are who they say they are? They don't have like a family somewhere, or they're lying
Oh,
about
just
having been married before, all kinds of things.
yeah. Or still married. That's a big thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I get people
Mm-hmm.
that will come
Let's
in
keep
all
it
the
real.
time. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, right. I get people all the time that they're like, I want to make sure that they're actually single,
Mm-hmm.
because they're
Mm-hmm.
meeting a lot of married people online, especially
Mm-hmm.
because anyone can be whoever they want online.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say you have to trust but verify. Do
Mm-hmm.
your homework and do your research on a person.
What are like some good
And
places to look for that aren't just trying to take your money?
well, of course, you can find out a lot about someone on Google, but there are just basic websites like backgroundcheck.com, that you can
Mm-hmm.
do some research on. But I think you have to look at if you want to figure out if somebody's truly divorced, you have to
Mm-hmm.
find their legal records, and you
Mm-hmm.
can usually find that online on whatever county that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
But it may require a little bit of researching, and that's the thing. The background checks are not
Mm-hmm.
100 proof. Like I always say that you have to basically be the FBI if you want a thorough background check on someone,
Yeah.
because there's just so many nuances and loopholes where things may not show up.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you have to trust but verify and just do your
Mm-hmm.
research.
And
And
so if
there's
mhm.
people will show you who they are. So
That
it's
I was
important
just
to
thinking
pay
about that.
attention.
Maya Angelou always said, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time.
Believe us. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
sometimes in dating, the representative shows up for a while. So we'll
Yeah.
see. How can
Well,
we get
that's
more
why I
information
think.
from you?
Oh, sure. Go to lumasearch.com. It's LUMA search.com, and people can fill out the profile form to meet with a matchmaker and get matched up.
All right. And this is like a discreet thing. It's not, your face isn't going to pop
Yes.
up on a website somewhere.
Right. It's totally confidential. We're an executive matchmaker,
Hmm.
executive search firm, but for dating.
Well, wonderful. Well, thanks for all the information, April. It was nice to meet you this morning and get some tips, and happy Valentine's Day.
Well, nice to meet you. Thank you, and happy Valentine's Day to you.
All right. Take care.
You too.
It's always a fun chat talking about love, but we have to go. So we'll see you again at noon. Hope you have a great day.